Hey guys, welcome back to a new tutorial using Godot 4. We're going to try and create a super simple autotile using the terrain system that Godot 4 has. Now you're probably wondering what is an autotile. So if we get a tile set just like this one here, as you can see we've got 16 by 16 tiles. Now if we want to draw these out, if we click this one here and start placing them, now we can place them, however it won't place it in the kind of layout we've got here. So for in this case, if we create a structure like this, we're going to want this corner piece here, this corner piece there, that there, etc. And then you've got to build it all out, and you've got to do that manually. And as you can see, I don't really know which piece is meant to go there, so that can be super tedious. And of course you could have a completely different layout to make it look, your tileset could have different layout, so it's simpler for you to understand which piece goes where. But in Godot we've got a bitmask system with the terrain system, where you can place bitmasks, which will then create a terrain just like this and create all the possible scenarios. And if we now place this, as you can see, it's placed a single blob just like that. Now if we place another one, as you can see, the Autotile system is actually automatically placing the correct tile where they're meant to be. Now, as you can see, we're placing blob, right? This blob tile set. We've actually got another one called Wang. Now, the difference between the two, as you can see, when I place a Wang tile set, there's a 3x3 grid, whereas with blob, there's a 1x1. Now with blob tile sets, you can get a lot more customizability out of this, because what's happening is you've got a lot more tiles to play around with. Whereas in Wang's, if we have a look at the actual Wang tile set, it's a 3x15 grid, whereas a blob tile set is more like 5x11, something like that, which allows for a lot more tiles to be placed. Now let's actually go ahead and just create these tile sheets. So go ahead and open up Godot 4. I'm using the latest version 4.0.3, and the resources for this project, you can find it all on my GitHub link. I'll put in the description below. So we've got blob tile set, the template, if you have a look, blob tile set, the blob tile set template, if you just to show you how to do the bit masking, and then the tile set for all of them, and then the Wang tile set and the Wang tile set bit mask template. So if we go back to Godot, let's do a new project. Go ahead and select the path that you want, and I'm going to call this simple autotile, and this will all be on GitHub as well. I'm just going to select none for now, and let's go ahead and create and edit. And I'm just going to move this across here. So let's wait till that creates the project. The major differences with, of course, Wang and Blob is Wang tile sets are predominantly used in 2D top-down games, whereas Blob tile sets are in 2D side-scroller games, because you might need more customizability in the side-scroller games than you need in the top-down one. So if we now select 2D here, let's go ahead and create a 2D scene, and we'll just call this world, and go ahead and just save that for now. Press enter, save into here, and now go into your directory here, click open in file manager, and once you've downloaded the resources, go ahead and just copy over the blob tile set, and Wang tile set over here, and that'll load it in for us. So once we've got them in, let's go ahead and click world, click the plus button here, and look for tilemap. Let's add tilemap in, and to keep it simple, we'll work by each of the tile sets first. So let's do Wang first, because it's the easiest one and probably the more common one you'll find in the tile sets out there. So grab, before you grab that, actually on the right, you'll see tile set, click empty, click new tile set, and now click the tile set, and go ahead and drag Wang tileset. Make sure you click tileset here, and now grab the Wang tileset and just drag it in here. Click yes to automatically select the tiles for you, so we can now play around with these tiles. Now to create an actual auto tile, we need to create a terrain first. So on the right you'll actually see terrain sets. Click add element, and now you've got different modes. So if you come from Godot 3's auto tiling system, a lot of people will say match corners and sides is equivalent to 3x3. Match corners is 3x3 minimal, and match sides is 2x2. Now in this case it's more commonly used 3x3 minimal, so we're going to use match corners, and even though people say that's the equivalent, it's not a one-to-one equivalent, so we make sure to experiment with it. Now once we've got our pieces here, what we want to do is select terrains and click add element again, and we can call this, in this case I'll just call it land, and give it a bright color so that we can see it. This will be color of our bitmask. Now if you go to the paint section on the top, click select the property editor, click terrains, and now in the terrain sets click terrain set 0, that's this one here, and you'll know what terrain it is. If you hover over mode, you'll see it says properties terrain underscore set underscore 0, so that's your terrain set 0, and then go ahead and select land. Now what you can do is you can one by one click these to bring it into your terrain set, and you can even if you click select, go back to paint, and if you click no terrains you can actually bring them back into no terrains. So if you go back here, now what you can also do is if you do Control Shift, you can actually drag across and select all of them at once, yeah, which ideally is what the fastest way to do it. Now when it comes to placing this Wang bitmask, what I've come to find is this layout works the best. So if I click this, you place a tile here and a tile there, so it's like 4 here like that. So let's go ahead and draw it, and then I'll let you know what the difference, or in terms of how it works. So make sure you select land, there we go, and then so we put tile here, so we essentially want to fill this middle bit in, essentially just like that. Now what this is saying is if a tile here is placed, then these two should be placed next to it if a tile is placed here, if that makes sense. So when we place this tile, it's going to check to the right and to the left. Is there a tile to the right, and is there a tile to the bottom? If there is, then place this tile. Same with here, it's going to say okay, if there's a tile to the left and tile to the right, then place this one, if that makes sense. That's how bitmasking works. I won't go into too much depth, but I'll put some links below in the description that explains it better. I reckon 100% or 99% of the time, if you follow this layout, it's actually going to work for your tile set. Let's see if we get better color here. So we do a purple or pink. Yeah, maybe a pink. So now the next one, if you look at templates, it just goes round in a circle, or a square rather. So if we just fill that in just like that, and then we fill in the corners here, here and here, and just make sure that these aren't filled in. If you do accidentally fill in, let's say a piece here, you can just right click and it'll come off. Now that we've got that, we've actually got a Wang tileset set up. Click the tile map, click terrains, and you see here we've got land. Now if we place it, there you go, your Wang tileset has been set up. Now it does look a bit weird if you, let's say, place a tile here and then tile there, or not even there. See, now that's messed up. Place a tile here, you'll see this piece is the wrong tile. If you actually click that, it'll fill it in anyways. The reason that is, and that I believe, I'm not sure if it's a bug in Godot 4, because in Godot 3 that doesn't happen, but in Godot 4 it could be that there isn't enough pixels to fill that in, or the bitmasking might be incorrect. But if you guys know, do leave a comment below. Now you can see it's a bit pixelated. So if you go to project and go to project settings, go ahead and type filter, click textures and change linear to nearest, and as you can see it's much cleaner now. So that is Wang tileset setup. Let's actually have a look. Let's call this Wang tileset. Let's go ahead and have a look at blob tileset. So I'm gonna do tilemap, and we'll do the exact same thing, create a new tileset, and let's go ahead and click tilesets, and let's drag our blob tileset into here. Click yes, and it'll automatically put everything in. Now let's go ahead and also click tileset, create terrain sets, add element. Now for this one we need match corners and sides because we've got much more pixels or tiles that we can play around with. And now if you click tiles, we'll also call it land, and I'll give it like a pinkish color as well. Okay, now if we go to tile sets, under paint, click the terrain set 0, land, and shift control and just drag across to grab all of them. And now to draw this, follow it just like I do. So if we go here, the template is just like this. Feel free to pause. I'll even put this blank one here so you can see the grid, and it'll be in the resource folder as well. If we go back here, just want to fill it in like this, and you see I've done some mistakes. Don't worry, we'll cut those out. So we get rid of those mistakes, right click, and there we go. Now the way I like to see this is a 3x3 grid, so fill in everything except the edges. Same with here, this is a 3x1 grid, fill in everything except the edges, and that's the exact same here, and same here, fill in everything except the edges. Now this one, what I like to do is fill in a square, right, except the inside and the edges, so it's like a hollow square. And then starting from the top, we do a line like that, and then another line like that, and then starting from the bottom, do a line and another line, and then sides we do the exact same thing here and the exact same thing here. So you essentially want these gaps to look like that, right? And that's for this piece. And this bottom piece, you want to kind of put a line here, so there's gap here, and then you want to go straight across, same thing, so you got two T's basically, and then just fill in the middle bits just like that. And then this is exactly the same layout as this one, just horizontal or vertical rather, and just fill in like that. There we go. And this one is just a cross, just like that. Now this one's a bit of a strange one, but the way I like to do it is we've essentially got some legs here. So we do an L here, and then what I like to do is actually, before I do any other L's, I do a nice little hashtag just at the bottom here. Fill that in. Yep, we've got our hashtag pattern, and now we fill the rest in, and we should have L's like this and gaps in the corners just like that. And that is your blob tile set. So I'll leave it like that so you guys can pause and check it out. If we minimize and we actually, let's rename that to blob tile set, go to our tile map and click land, and as you can see, you can now draw it in, do a few tests to make sure that it's done correctly, everything lines up, which is great. Now you may be in a situation where in reality the way Godot 4 works now is you don't need to have multiple tile maps. You can have everything in one tile map, so you don't actually need to have two different tile maps. Let's go ahead and create a new tile map, and this will have everything in it. So we could either use a tile set like this, or we could actually put multiple tile sets in one tile map. So before we do that one, let's just go ahead and click tile map, click tile set, new tile set, go under tile sets, and drag the tileset.png in. Click yes, it'll automatically put it in. And now we've got the exact same layout. So let's go ahead and create our terrain just like before. Terrain sets, add layers, and now this first one is match corners and sides. So this is actually, we call our blob, and we'll make it pink. That's fine. Let's copy that hex because we'll copy it over for the next one. Pinkish, yeah. And now we want to add another element, but be careful not to add it under the terrain. So click the drop down. You want to add it under terrain set. So click add element, and this time you want to make this match corners, because you're actually going to make a Wang tile set now, and Wang tile set uses match corners instead of oops, what's going on here? Yeah, there we go. So Wang tile set uses match corners instead of match corners and sides, just like the blob one does. So now that we've got that, let's go to our tile set section and let's go to paint, train set 0. So this is our blob train set. So let's do shift control, drag down, bring them all in, and let's go ahead and just quickly draw that out just like before. And if you guys got any questions so far, just feel free to drop a DM down below in the comments, and I'll answer as soon as possible. As you can see, I'm making a lot of mistakes, but it's not too bad because you can just clear them out. Bam, bam. Let's do a hashtag first. Boom, 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 boom. And then let's go ahead and draw our Wang one as well. Wang tile set, shift, grab that, and the Wang one's pretty quick and easy compared to the blob one. Bam, 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 just like that. Okay, so now we've got two different tile sets. Go to tile map and go ahead and click blob. Let's go ahead and get rid of the old one that is under blob. Clear the old one out, click tile map, and as you can see, it's drawing now for the blob. And let's check the Wang out, places nicely. And now what you can do is I've included some water files there as well. So if we go ahead and select that, go ahead and click the water file, and we can click this tool here, which is a rectangle, and we can go ahead and just draw like that. And if you go back into terrains, you can now build on top of that water just like that. But as you can see, you'll see you'll see the background, and that's probably not that nice at all. So what we can actually do is let's get rid of that, and let's have a look at layers. Layers allow you to combine different terrain sets on two different layers without affecting each other. So if we minimize the tile set, got layers here. Let's create one layer, we'll call it water, and click add element, and another one, and we'll call it land. And let's go ahead and select underwater. We've got water selected here. Click tiles, click the water tile, and just drag across. Oops. Let's try that again. Click tile map first, sorry. That's probably why. Yep. Select water, just drag across, and now these tiles are on the water layer. So now if we select land, you see that's grayed out. We can now go to terrains, and if we click blob now, it's on top of the water layer, and we can do our Wang ones here like that as well. As you can see, tileset is on top of another layer. I'm going to have all the resources links below in the description. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe, and just give me a shout in the comments below if you've got any questions. Thanks guys, catch you next video.